y'all. So this week's Fluck Up was me trusting my brain to actually fire properly this morning. Can you say Mercury retrograde has already hit? However, now that I'm back on track, bringing you a little bit of intel as far as all these eclipses and retrogrades that are happening. All these eclipses. Only had one. Anyway, see? Firing. During this eclipse season, so there are two different versions that I'm seeing in the research that I've done, right? So by and large, the majority of the outlets and astrologers are reporting that we just had a lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. However, there are a couple of traditions that I've seen that actually say Libra. So I'm going to give you some intel from a medical astro as well as just an overview as a whole from both perspectives. All right. So we also have Venus in retrograde right now. Keep that in mind. And Jupiter just went direct back in February. So what does all of this mean? It means that you have, as I've been squawking all week, planet of love, harmony, luxury, comfort, and in its own little way, status and beauty. Going retrograde, asking you to think about what it is that you're connecting to. Okay? Why are you connected to it? Why are you bound to it? Person, place, thing, idea, whatever, right? For business owners, this is going to be a beautiful time for you to consider rebranding. For anybody who's interested in navigating a fresh start, this is the time to do it, especially if it involves you being seen and visible. As it pertains to anybody who is trying to figure out next steps in a relationship, ask yourself, are you hooked on nostalgia and mistaking familiarity with purpose and actual love, a deep-rooted sense of love, okay? If you are somebody who is trying to navigate influencing anything or anyone, this is a time for you to ask yourself about that approach, all right? Now, Mercury retrograde. Everybody knows it's when technology goes wonky, but more importantly, it's when you are asked to reevaluate or reassess how you are approaching things, right? Your thought patterns, your speech, like your words, how are you actually communicating? So utilizing that sword, right? And with Jupiter going direct, this is a free flow of ideas. So I'll put that all together, and what's being asked of you is you have this Midas touch right now. Your manifestations are like flowing and happening, but does everything need to turn to gold? And the answer to that is no. So be mindful of what it is that you are allowing your thoughts or energy to flow into right now. Chi flows where the mind goes. So whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're putting in any type of intention toward, this is a period where that will happen in hyperspeed, right? Be it dismantling something or building it up. Going into this eclipse season, we have, like I mentioned, some reporting Virgo, some reporting Libra. If you're going with the Virgos, right, then this is a period where from a medical astral standpoint, you need to think about your gastrointestinal health, namely your intestines, right? So maybe this is a period where you're feeling a little backed up. Maybe it's a great time to schedule that colonoscopy. This is also a beautiful time for you to think about your intake of whole grains. If you're into eating whole grains, either too many or too little can be just as detrimental. More importantly, what are you eliminating? Your colon health is important for making sure that you are actually releasing and purging toxins. Spiritually, that also means making sure that you're not overanalyzing or retaining too much, hence constipation, as a physical manifestation of said anything or anyone that no longer serves you. Right? A lot of people will say Virgos are anal retentive. Well, from a medical astral standpoint, there's some truth to that. So this is a time where you may want to consider going on a bit of a fast, do some juice cleansing, consult your healthcare practitioner to make sure that that is actually something that is right for you. But colon health is key. And in Chinese medicine, colon and lungs are linked. So be mindful of anything that has to do with upper respiratory health too, which, I mean, we've got a plethora of things happening here in the U.S. around that. If you're going to go with the Libra side of this, Then Libra rules the buttocks, the ureters, and your kidneys, right? So make sure that you're drinking your cranberry juice and taking your probiotics to ensure that you have the proper balance of flora for all of my vagina-toting humans out there, because we need to make sure that we don't get bladder infections, right? Going into the spring, this is BBL season, and Libra also rules the buttocks, so this is a great time for you to do some exercises to help lift your glutes. It's also a great time to make sure that in doing that, you're supporting your lower back as well as your pelvis and your hips, right? Your abs too. Your core is going to be important. Libra also has a lot to do with, Venus, because Venus rules Libra, right? So this is a time for you to think about your skin, right? Maybe if you've been having any type of skin rashes or irritations, be mindful of the products that you're using. Be mindful of environmental pollens and things like that that may be contributing to that. But also, are you stressed? Libra has a tendency to always try to see balance and harmony, and with its ruler being wonky, you may be expressing some of that stress through your skin, all right? This is not a time to overthink. This is a time to be decisive and discerning and trust in spirit, and not so much needing to overanalyze or be pensive, all right? Because both of these signs have a tendency to do that. Actually, if we're going to be honest, this particular quadrant of the year tends to do that. So just be mindful. Additionally, an eclipse is asking you to release and let go of something, right? Especially a lunar eclipse, right? It's also asking you to dip into the underbelly and the shadow of something. So what is possibly hidden behind some of the motives that you've had or others have had towards you? I know that's a lot, especially on a Friday, but I sincerely hope this is helpful. Love and kisses. Keep your gazes forward. Please like, share, subscribe, and share this with a friend or in your community if you find this to be beneficial or helpful. And please click the link below if you're interested in Austin, if you're here, partaking in a class that I'm offering with a friend of mine at Olive Tree Holistic. So pretty fun stuff, but yeah, thanks a lot. Happy Friday.